More than 1,000 years ago, long before Columbus set sail across the Atlantic, a daring group of seafaring explorers called the Vikings made their way to a distant, unknown land. A land they called Vinland. And while their journey was largely forgotten by history for centuries, their story is one of ambition, bravery, and the human desire to seek out the edges of the world. Our story begins with Leif Erikson, a name you may have heard, but not in the same breath as Columbus. Leif was the son of Eric the Red, another legendary figure who had founded a settlement in Greenland. By the year 1000 CE, Leif had inherited not just his father's adventurous spirit, but also the sturdy wooden ships and navigational skills that defined the Viking Age. Legends say that the discovery of Vinland might have been an accident, thanks to a merchant named Bjarni Herjolfsson, who claimed to have seen an unfamiliar coastline after being blown off course. Curious about these stories of strange lands far to the west, Leif decided to find out for himself. He gathered a small crew, set sail from Greenland, and braved the open seas. The journey wasn't for the faint of heart. Imagine the vast, cold Atlantic stretching endlessly before them, with only the stars, the sun, and the currents as their guides. Yet, Leif and his men reached land, what we now believe to be the northern tip of Newfoundland, Canada. Here, they built a settlement called L'Anse aux Meadows, and it would become the first known European foothold in the Americas. The Vikings called the area Vinland, which roughly translates to land of wine. According to their sagas, the land was bountiful, with wild grapes, rich forests, and plenty of fishing. But their time in Vinland was short-lived. Conflicts arose with the indigenous peoples they called Skraelings, likely ancestors of the First Nations or Inuit. Without the numbers or stability to maintain their settlement, the Vikings eventually abandoned Vinland and returned to Greenland. For centuries, the story of Vinland lingered only in Viking sagas, dismissed as myth. It wasn't until the 1960s, when archaeologists uncovered the ruins at L'Anse aux Meadows, that the world finally realized the Vikings had indeed reached America. Leif Erikson and his crew likely saw the journey as just another exploration, another uncharted world to conquer. But their story reminds us of something important. History is never one narrative, and discovery doesn't belong to just one man, one nation, or one time. The Vikings pushed the boundaries of their world not for fame, but for curiosity. And in doing so, they carved their place in history. A reminder that our thirst for the unknown is as old as humanity itself.